Why real estate has afforded me the opportunity to do a lot of things I never otherwise would have. When I started in real estate, I actually had never made over $30,000 in a single year before. Of course, how could I? I was just 21. So that is where I started, and it quickly changed. My very first wholesale deal was $3,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, really not, yet it was a lot to me at the time, and it changed my life because I realized it was possible. According to Google, which it must be true, 76% of millionaires have made their money in real estate. Few things I'll cover. People, of course, always need a place to live, right? As the population Why real estate has afforded me the opportunity to do a lot of things I never otherwise would have. When I started in real estate, I actually had never made over $30,000 in a single year before. Of course, how could I? I was just 21. So that is where I started, and it quickly changed. My very first wholesale deal was $3,000. Doesn't sound like a lot, really not, yet it was a lot to me at the time, and it changed my life because I realized it was possible. According to Google, which it must be true, 76% of millionaires have made their money in real estate. Few things I'll cover. People, of course, always need a place to live, right? As the population grows, so does demand. And real estate is always going up, and they ain't making any more of it. So there's a few ways to make $1 million, and you can add a zero, call it 10 million or two, and make it 100 million. But you can sell 1,000 products, 1 million products at $1 a piece, 100,000 for $10 a piece, 1,000 people for 1,000 a piece, or 100 people for a $10,000 item. Now, my average wholesale profit to date is $14,000. Now, there'll be two purposes of this training. Number one, it is for you to learn all the strategies that I use in my business every single day to buy houses. Number two is going to be a training that you will also be using. You're going to be using the same messaging when you train your acquisitions managers, because not only are some of you getting to the place where you're buying houses, some of you are getting to the next level where you're hiring and training your acquisitions managers. So our average wholesale profit is $14,000. Our average terms profit, meaning we'll get into more of that in a moment, but when we buy a house on owner financing, our average lifetime profit of that deal is $48,000. So more than 3 times the profit on the terms deal. Because why? We get 3 paydays. We get to buy it, own the house now, get paid up front, in the middle, and in the back end. And so more on that later. Several ways to make $1 million, and I would prefer to make $1 million working with a dozen clients than I would make $1 million working with $1 million client. And so real estate affords that opportunity. Now, some of you are in areas where the median price range, especially if I don't think we have any Californians here today, but I have students in California who they can't hardly buy a doghouse for $600,000. And so obviously a little different situation there. Average price point of the houses I buy is right around $120,000, yet we've done higher price, and some of my students' average price points are $600,000 plus. So this is something that works all across as long as there's houses where you are. Credit is a nice bonus to have. You don't need it, but it is there for you. So that's another reason why I love real estate. So should you have good credit, you can use the opportunity to go refinance houses. All sorts of ways. I'll show you tomorrow how we can use credit should we want to. Yet we don't have to. When I bought 50 houses in 52 weeks and continue to buy houses every single month, we do it constantly without credit. So as we go through this, I'm going to be covering wholesaling secrets, how you can buy houses, contract them at price A and sell them at price B. I'll be going over details of how we find properties, how we market them, and how we sell them. So here's 5 simple steps for every single part of the business. This is the same, doesn't change whether it's wholesaling or owner financing or any other type of transaction, lease option. Number 1, we got to find prospects, find properties. Number 2, we have to pre-screen them. And that's the part where if you don't quickly integrate someone to handle that for you, you will probably not be in this business very long. Because for me, it didn't take but a few dozen people telling me no or was having a bad day trying to project that on me, calling, asking if I could buy their house, till I was like, this business sucks. And so I quickly found a way to replace myself pre-screening. Now this business is amazing. Making offers. We're going to cover how to make offers. We're going to cover how to make offers that are a win for you, a win for the seller. Now, know this. When you're making offers, you're always going to be working with the minority. You are typically going to be working with people who need to sell and don't just want to sell. Should somebody just want to sell? They want all cash, full price, for a beautiful house in a beautiful area. That's not our seller. Next. So we're going to be working with prospects, not suspects. We're going to be working with people who need to sell and don't just want to sell. We're working with people who either A, are okay taking a deeply discounted price, or B, are okay taking monthly payments until we pay them off in full. All right. Fourthly, we're going to cover how to get the contract. Some of you, being from a real estate background, contracts don't scare you. Yet if you're like me, when I started, that was the scariest part, getting the contract and filling it out. So I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a simple 2-page front and back. You'll all have them. You'll be pros at filling them out by this evening. I'm going to fill them out with you. Fifthly, and the best part, I'm going to show you how to GTFM, get the freaking money. All right, so that is the fun part. We're going to show you how to find buyers, have buyers lined up more than you have deals to sell. How many would like to have more buyers than you have houses to sell them? Say, oh yeah. All right, so done right, big checks will shortly follow these strategies. I'll show you the fastest way to get a check and much more. So that's what we're going to be covering today.